Karen Bonifilio, Inner Realms, Outer Journeys. I have a new guest on today. His name's Fred Maerkle. Fred, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everyone. Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, I'm so excited that he's on. And he lives clear across the United States from me. Are you currently living in Connecticut, Fred?
Yes, I am. I'm in Eastern Connecticut, and actually, the areas that I serve is Eastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Southeastern Massachusetts as well. So,
Wow.
well, it's a well. I was going to say it's a New England's a lot smaller than than Washington or Oregon. So,
Yeah, we got Washington, Oregon, California, three huge states. So, yeah, you are correct. Okay, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Fred. He is a holistic energy and therapeutic bodywork specialist.
yes,
Excuse me, I can't read today. He's got the coolest name for his practice. It's Zentastic. I love it. Zen, Zentastic Wellness. And he started that in 2017. And he works with holistic healing. Now, I'm going to let him tell you his certifications because I can't pronounce the words. So, Fred, tell us about your talents.
all right. Actually, we really in a nutshell, I started off actually in 2017 as a Reiki master teacher, and of course, I find that pretty much to be almost like a gateway modality where a lot of people they'll start off with Reiki, and then many will branch out into other different modalities. Some will just stay with Reiki, and that's fine. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
what I love about Reiki, just to finish up on that, is that it can be infused into whatever other modalities you're doing. So whether I'm doing
Oh,
anything else, whether it be vibrational sound therapy, traditional Chinese medicine, whatever, because Reiki is done with intention. And so maybe I'm not doing the official Dr. Asui hand positions. I am still infusing Reiki. And so, I mean, that's just an added bonus. So that's cool. Actually, once I broke out of that there, I went into a realm of vibrational sound therapy.
yeah.
And that's something I love. It's of course, vibrational sound therapy is something that resonates with me, pun intended.
Good
So,
job.
uh, but with that there, I'm able to. I mean, one of my major fortes is individual services, as well as doing group services as well. And so when you take vibrational sound therapy, there that covers both. For one, I mean, many people are familiar with sound baths, and myself,
Yes.
I do both Tibetan singing bowls, kind of like, yeah, kind of like,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
as well as crystal bowls and such like that. And so, I mean, there you can create a whole soundscape, and there, just put everybody into into that sense and mode of just realigning, recentering, regrounding,
Mm.
and allowing healing to occur. But then I also do also incorporate that into individual body work. So the thing is, especially now, one of the major things that I do is with vibrational sound therapy on an individual basis is working with weighted tuning forks such as this.
Oh,
Just trying to now, unlike many people, when you say tuning forks, they think, oh, it'd be like this here, unweighted. So I know we may have noise echo suppression on, so it may not hear it, but you
oh
get
yeah.
you get a little bit of a tone, and of course
Hmm.
with that there, I also use this say for biofield tuning. Matter of fact, you can even see it on the fork itself,
Oh,
and with biofield tuning, that's one modality where you wind up. It's in essence, it's for releasing suppressed traumas, and so now you're combing the aura to help facilitate the find different traumas. This is things
hmm.
that are there to help the person also to recognize and then also to release. But now a lot of the body work I do is with the let me go back a little bit. There you go. and that's with the weighted tuning forks. Now with this, unlike the um, unweighted, you activate it. There's you could see it kind of how it's all
Oh,
vibrating here,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's little to no audible sound. However, you really feel that vibration. It's almost like a vibro etch gun. So with this here, this is really great for where I mean with this here, I could do with this. I can do a whole lot of body work, whether it be breaking up fascia, which is that membrane which is subdermal right under the skin.
Mhm.
There tight muscles. Matter of fact, I can even do a whole lot of deep tissue work with without pain or discomfort. Like say for instance,
Wow.
one of my specialties is actually helping people with
Wow.
sciatica, piriformis syndrome, which is pretty much the same, or even with hip opening there, as far as getting down to the psoas. If you were now for those who maybe have had that worked on,
Mhm.
if you go into whether it be a deep tissue massage therapist or a physical therapist, I mean, I love them both. However, all they have is their thumb,
Yeah.
and when they go in with their thumb or with the massage therapist, or going with the elbow,
Mhm.
let's put it this way, especially elbow and the glute, that can be, oh, how shall we say, an exhilarating experience.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Painful.
yes. However,
Yeah.
myself, with this here, it is with the vibration from this, it's you put it on, and then, well, well, of course, it's just a simulation, but you kind of go in, and it just very gently with that vibration, it breaks up fascia, breaks up tight muscles for getting down into the glutes, into the getting down to the psoas. I can get in there very gently and without any pain. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. So I know tuning forks have different frequencies.
Hmm.
Does yours or does that one just cover all that you do with the body, or do you
Okay.
have a whole bunch of them?
Well, I got several tuning
Hmm.
forks. Like the one that I just held up here. This is my general purpose one. Is 128 hertz. I
Hmm.
also use it in conjunction uh, with another one, which is a mid ohm, which
Oh,
is 136.1. Now with that there, it's maybe I might get a little geeky on this, but what happens when you take two similar but discordant frequencies, put them together, it creates
hmm,
yet a third vibrational wave, which causes like a binaural beat or an oscillation.
hmm,
And so
hmm.
when you take the two forks and then now use them within close proximity of one another, whether they're about an inch or so apart, especially like if you want to get on the shoulder there, and you kind of want to pinch, you get that there, and then it just that vibration is just that additional vibration is just awesome. Now the 128 is usually I usually use that for doing deep tissue and also working on bone. In fact, here's a little interesting factoid: these weighted tuning forks are also referred to as auto tuning forks, which is short for osteophonic, which literally means bone sound. And
Oh, wow.
oh yeah. So now here's something that's really cool. A lot of people don't know. You may have some people may have noticed this maybe in a surgeon's office or a doctor's office, say an older
Yes.
doctor. You may have
Hmm.
seen this.
I've seen them.
Actually, did you know that that's actually used for detecting a bone fracture without having to do an X-ray?
No, I had no clue.
Yes, because again, bone sound. When you take well, okay, it's but anyways, when you take, but let's say you put a when you put this on bone, you can actually feel the vibration going through the bone, which is really cool. But let's say, for instance, whether say this is maybe let's say this is like a humerus, your upper arm or any or whatever leg, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, you put it on, and let's say you feel the vibration go so far, and then it stops. Then what you do is you activate it, go here, and now you can feel the vibration going up. If it stops in about the same place, there's a pretty good probability that there's a bone fracture, and that's how they.
Oh,
So that's how they was able to do triage. I mean, how many doctors have an X-ray machine in their office? None that I know of.
My
So,
husband did,
okay then.
but he was a chiropractor.
Oh well, yeah, okay, that was
Yeah. That's
um,
why.
yeah, but a lot of medical doctors don't have that. So,
No, they send you out.
and especially surgeons. So
Mhm.
this way, at least it's a quick diagnostic tool. It's not absolute,
Yes.
but it's like well, okay, then there's something going on. So that's one thing that I do, and I mean I can do a whole myriad of different bodywork things.
Well, that's
Uh,
just with the tuning forks too.
oh, not
And
just with the yes, just with the tuning forks. Yes,
now I have the tuning forks that make sound. So can
yeah.
I do the same kind of healing with me with the sound forks?
Well, actually, this is a different tool. The unweighted one
Oh.
that
Hmm.
produces sound. So now, maybe just with just with hearing, and with a tone, that in itself, has some healing properties. But but say you activate it and you put it on a body, there's like hardly any vibration that comes down the end.
Right. So it's not
So
practical for that.
yeah, so it's really so unweighted tuning fork is really more for sound. I mean, now they have people like whether it be musicians, piano tuners, whatever. They now have chromatic tuners. The electronic. However, back in the day, it was like okay, you needed to tune an instrument, you had a said fork, and then you'd use that. Actually, to
Will
go back, go ahead.
will that get your chakra spinning the right way?
Oh,
And
Oh, okay. Actually, that's okay. Good point. I do have a set of chakra forks, and they're
okay.
unweighted like this. So now with the tone, and
You-
and
Okay.
and, and each one is because just like with the chakras, they have there's different frequencies. There's also different notes associated. Just like
Hmm.
it's almost like a musical octave, where the root starts
Yeah.
off at C, sacral D, and then all the way up where the third eye is A and the crown is a B. And so I have actually for chakra work on an individual,
Hmm.
I have the unweighted tuning forks. But actually, to get back to your question, where I went off on a slight tangent, where you said, okay, do I have different frequencies of weighted tuning forks? Yes, I do. I
Hmm.
found and this is in general, where you can experiment and such, but I found for like working on soft tissue, good meaty parts, especially if you have tight, muscle knots or whatever, something in a range of 64 hertz works very nicely for that.
Hmm.
Um, but then it's like for general purpose, 128 works well too. I found if you go maybe at best 140. Well, actually, I have a pair of Fibonacci forks, that's a whole mathematical sequence. But I got a 144 hertz, and that's about maybe the highest I would go because I tried a 198 hertz weighted fork, and it was hardly any effect.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's because now it's vibrating at such a higher frequency. You're not really feeling the effect on the output side.
Got it.
You put
Got
so
it.
it's like it's a lot of it is really just and of course you just use intuition as far as working with it as well.
That's true. So you do Reiki, you do vibrational
Mhm.
healing, but
Yep.
you do some other types of healing
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
For the longest time, for many years, I did. It was Reiki and sound. Vibrational sound therapy, sound healing. The whole gamut. And actually, it was about maybe 3 years. Yeah, almost 3 years ago now
Mhm.
that I got acquainted with and fell in love with TCM, or traditional Chinese medicine. And it was at the Natural Living Expo in Marlborough, Massachusetts. I met Dr. Ming Wu, who happens to live in the same state as me. He's in West
Oh,
Hartford. Oh yeah,
nice.
and and so actually he uh, and I and the thing is, he was at the I mean, I was going to the expo for years. He's been one of the original vendors there. So the thing is, it's kind of a case where you would see, you know, you look but you don't see, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I know
And
what you
so,
mean.
and
You
so
weren't
now
ready.
it's, yeah, I wasn't ready. And then
Mhm.
it was one year that the universe said, okay, now is the time. I, and so
Mhm.
it's like, okay, so what is this Tuina? Tuina in itself, and using a Wikipedia definition, is Chinese acupressure, bodywork, or massage. And the basic tool
Mm.
that's used for that is this, your thumb.
Your thumb.
Your thumb. And when I saw, you know, where, you know, Dr. Wu, he did a presentation, and it was about instant pain relief. It's like, wait a minute, okay, now you got my curiosity, because a lot of the
Uh-huh.
clients I see and work on, the majority of them are those that have either chronic or acute pain, those people with injuries, post-op, things of that nature. And so it's like, okay, so if I can, you know, do whatever to bring a modicum of relief, let's try it. So you know, that got me fascinated.
Mhm.
I even got a mini session there, and it's like I need to learn this. And it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful modality. Um, again, it's using your thumb. You're hitting you know, different acupressure points, but the major ones
Mhm.
um, go along the spine. Now, I are you familiar with reflexology in a general sense? Say
Mhm. I
like
used
with
to have it done with my feet all the time.
yeah, and
Mhm.
there's various types of reflexology. There's foot reflexology, hand reflexology, even ear reflexology, where the principles of those is that there are certain points and spots that correspond to different parts of the body. Now with Tree Nam,
Oh.
here's a fourth
Oh,
where
really?
oh yeah. So now yeah. So
Mhm.
now with Tuina, it uses Watujaji points. It took me a long time to get to be able to pronounce that properly.
I don't think I'm gonna
The
try
Watujaji points is basically the entire spine going. Okay, and actually, where your husband was a chiropractor, you ought to know this. Where it goes all the way from C1 all the way down to S5,
Mhm.
and where each vertebrae corresponds to a different part of the body,
Oh, yes.
and
Oh, yes.
and and that
Mhm.
makes sense in a way where you have the spinal cord that goes all the way through the spine, and then between each vertebrae there are nerves that go out to different parts of the body.
Yep.
And matter of fact, what I even have a beautiful experience, because after I took the class, I also had to do a bit of an extensive practicum where the requirement was a minimum of 50 hours with a minimum of 10 people. Well, I did 51 hours with 15 different people. But I even published a case study
Mhm.
with one of the clients, which was really cool. It was one mother approached me. Had a girl an 18-year-old girl, and she says, okay, she's suffering with POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. I didn't know what it was at the time, but in essence, somebody who has POTS, yeah, basically what happens with that there, if they're laying down or sitting and they stand up, there's a sudden decrease of volume of blood to the heart. The heart starts to race, they get lightheaded and dizzy, and in extreme cases, they get nauseous and will vomit. This 18-year-old girl was the latter. It would
Oh my
take
god.
every morning when she would get up, she
Mhm.
would she'd be vomiting every morning. She would then also, it would take her sometimes up to 2 hours to kind of stabilize before she'd be able to actually go to school. So she even had a special note from a doctor excusing her for being tardy to go to school. So
Never
at the
heard of this.
no, and so
Mm.
I hadn't, and so when I conferred with my mentor and teacher, Dr. Ming Wu, he said, okay, do your regular 9-line protocol, but then spend the extra 10 minutes on T5 for thoracic 5. And when you look at the chart, the left side corresponds to the heart. The right side corresponds to the pericardium, which is the sheath that surrounds the heart. And so
Mm.
after two treatments, she was no longer vomiting in the morning.
Oh, I
After
did.
four treatments,
Yeah.
She was actually getting to school on time. And then at the end of my practicum, she actually got 10 treatments. Uh, Her doctor was even cutting back on her meds. So this
What
is
a freeing experience for
oh,
her.
that was oh yes,
Yes.
that was totally awesome.
Hmm.
And what was funny is I had a little punch list where just to show that okay you worked on certain people at certain days and whatever. I was like okay, I had a name, then I had a date and initials and notes. So this way
Hmm.
it's like and I had like arbitrarily I put 10 slots, and so she would see me anywhere from once to twice a week.
Hmm.
And so I said, in jest, I said, I said, you fill out the sheet there, you get a free pizza.
I hope
And
you were true to
oh,
your word.
but now what happened is at her very last, the reason why I went 51 hours because she was, because she had, I had just hit the 50th hour with
Hmm.
a previous appointment, and it's like, no, I'm not going to tell her no. I'm going to still see her
Yeah.
because this is
Yeah.
yeah, it only made
Mhm.
sense. But what I did is I thought, you know what, I'm going to make good on that. Just so she lived in the next town. There's a pizza place there, so I went there, got a $20 gift certificate, and then after the session, I said, you know how I told you, you sign this whole
Mhm.
sign this off, and you get a free pizza. I said, here you go.
I bet.
And the smile on her face was awesome. I got this picture. It is so beautiful. Of course, I called her father in, and so here she is. She's holding the gift certificate. I'm holding that little checklist, and that a smile on her face goes from ear to ear. And I
You
mean,
completely changed her life.
exactly. And then
Wow.
that, and I also, as far as now going on, as far as traditional Chinese medicine, also do just acupressure in general. But
Mhm.
here is where, I mean, as it is right now, I have like 13 modalities under my belt. Yeah, it's
I
and
know. I was
and,
looking at that.
and what I love is yeah. I mean, I love being able to have so many because now I have more ways in order to better serve my clients.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's kind of like for one, the example I always use is, can you drive a screw into a wall using a hammer? Yes.
No.
Yes, you can.
Well, you
Yes,
kinda
not
just
the best way. Definitely not the best way.
yeah, no, it's not.
But
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, I guess you could.
no, you could. Should
Yeah.
you? No. But but like, okay, now with acupressure is really, and not to be confused with acupuncture. Acupuncture is with needles, and that goes subdermal.
Needles. Mhm.
So basically, what you would do is with acupressure, you take your finger or thumb, and you
Mhm.
press on a
Put it
certain
yeah.
pressure point. Now, while that's great and good, I love being able to take and blend different modalities together. So,
Yes.
so now
Mhm.
here it's like okay, here I have a weighted tuning fork, and with this you have that vibration like a vibro etch. So like, and actually this here is one pressure point for general pain right here on the web. So if you take, so what I do is I take it's trying to show, but now if instead of using my thumb, if I activate the weighted tuning fork and then hit a pressure point wherever it may be,
Mhm.
and that there just accentuates it instead of like just a singular pressure, you got this vibration, and so I have it listed under my one of my modalities as high octane acupressure.
High octane. I mean, gosh, that's pretty wow.
No, but, I mean, here this was a great example of how I'm able to mix and match.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah, but
so,
you have more, Fred. I know you
but
have more than
yes,
that too.
and so now I
But
also,
wait, there's more.
but yes, but wait, there's more. And I also do. I'm also actually I'm certified in actually two forms of gua sha. Now, gua sha is actually a Chinese modality. Gua means scrape, and sha means sand or bloom. And I always, when I say that there, it's, I always tell the clients, I said, don't worry. I don't put sand in the massage cream, but
Ew.
no, but that sand is really like when you have fascia, which is that membrane, just under the skin, because
Oh, fascia.
fascia is a wonderful, wonderful thing, where that's where the body can actually, it's a body's natural splint system. Say, for instance, say you have a sore shoulder. The body says, okay, you move the shoulder. It's like, okay, it hurts. So it tells the fascia system to put out these little cellulose fibroblasts, and it builds like a natural splint to help immobilize it.
Oh,
And
really?
oh
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
oh yeah. And while that's great, there are two things. One, sometimes well, for one, sometimes the fascia system doesn't know when to quit. Two,
Oh,
is that that built up fascia does not dissolve. You may think of like maybe subdermal sutures or whatever that dissolves. It doesn't
yeah.
dissolve. Now, built up fascia, you may know this under another thing, and that would ever hear of scar tissue. That's
Yep.
yeah, because now with a scar, now
Oh.
whether it's a scar from now whether it's, let's say it's a laceration from an injury, or a surgical wound.
Hmm.
Basically, they're both the same. I mean, the only thing about a surgical wound is that it's a controlled gash when you really think about it. And
Okay.
so, and then after the local anesthesia, whether it be lidocaine or whatever, wears off. I mean, it becomes sore
Yeah.
after you get sutures. So, in order to help immobilize that, the body does all these little fibroblasts, and so so by immobilizing that wound, it decreases the pain. However, after you get a bit of a buildup, okay, now let's say you want to, whether it be like in the shoulder or elbow or knee or wherever, it can happen wherever in the
Hmm.
body. What happens with that there is when you try to, okay, now because it splints it, now you try to move it, and now you have pain trying to fight that immobilization.
Right.
So now, to break up fascia, what you can do, at least on a general level. Let's say, for instance, whether and now the thing is, a lot of people are familiar with facial fascia, facial gua sha, taking
Mhm.
little tools, whether it be with let's say, for instance, the little jade or plastic
Oh,
ones
the
in the
rollers.
rollers or whatever.
Yeah.
And just by doing that, you're kind of breaking up that fascia and such like that. I
Oh.
Okay, now what I have here is a surgical stainless steel. It's a crescent shaped tool, and with this here, I do the whole body from neck to foot.
Does it
And
hurt, Fred?
no, it doesn't hurt. Now there are people. Now there are people who, of course, when I mention gua sha, there's some people that freeze like a deer in the headlights, and it's like, ooh. Last time I had that hurt, and it's like it's not supposed to hurt.
Yeah, to
If
me,
you
it
did it,
sounds painful.
okay.
You
It's
Mm.
if it was painful, then either the person doing it was either yeah, either not properly trained, or
Mhm.
I've heard this often, and I'm where sometimes when you get somebody who does acupuncture, they're also trained in gua sha, and so it's like, oh, I got 5 minutes left in the session, and so now the secret is, in order just so that it's not painful, is you just you
Oh, okay.
like massaging, and now it's just a gentle scraping, and now you work in layers, and that's a secret I also do with a tuning fork, especially if I got to go deep, where
Interesting.
you don't dive right in, because yeah, that'd be just like say a deep tissue a therapist, where if
Yeah,
they
they're
go,
using the
they go in
pressure.
there, it's like, yeah, you got to work your way in. And so by doing that, um, it's you're able to break up fascia, because I especially I'll get it like on somebody's back, on the sides, or even, let's say, even on the thighs, whether it be in the front on the quads, or on the back there, like and again, it's like sometimes it'll be like a rumble strip there, where like some people that it'll look, the texture of the skin will look like cottage cheese because of the what is it, cellulite that's built up underneath, and so that
Hmm.
breaks that helps to break it all up. But what's great
I
about
need
this
that.
what's great about this tool,
Hmm.
and by the way, it's nothing special. It's I got it off of Amazon. So if you look up gua sha on Amazon, gua sha tools, and you find the crescent one, it's only like about
Hmm.
$10. But what I like about the surgical stainless steel, for one, it doesn't rust. I mean, I love working with crystals and such. However, you if you have a crystal tool that they usually sell for doing the face, if it slips out of your hand and
Yep.
if it hits the floor or whatever, it can chip
Right.
or break or whatever. Plastic, plastic's resilient. However, it's also softer,
Hmm.
and you got to be careful. Otherwise, you get like a little nick or a burr in it. I mean, I do have a plastic one for doing, especially around the eyes and such. Um, but yeah, it's really great. And then the now, as far as gua sha, I did mention I'm actually trained in two versions of that. One of which is what I call the American version, which is IASTM, Instrument Assisted Soft Tissue Mobilization. I know it's a lot of syllables, but
Hmm.
what that is really the scope of that is really to the scan. So you kind of, you know, general scrape, see if you find any crunchies, for lack of a better term, work them out.
Crunchies.
Oh yeah, oh you'll definitely feel them, and you general
Ew.
scraping, work it out, and then you're done. And it's like, and
Crunchies in my
now here's
body.
another thing that as far as integration, it's like, to me, when I learned that, it's like, no, you're not done. There's one more step where you could do. And that's where I take this tool, and then once I break up the fascia, I can actually use that for pushing and for lymphatic drainage.
Awesome.
Because
That's
that was something
really
I learned
cool.
in VFRT, vibrational fascia release technique.
Hmm.
And so again, here's where I can do more by integrating different parts and pieces for
Hmm.
different modalities. So that's
Hmm.
the American version. The Chinese version, I'm also certified in, is and I will do the Chinese version on demand. Only now, what happens is when you do the Chinese version, I mean, you could use anything for gua sha. I mean, you could take like a Chinese soup spoon, a lid from a Snapple jar, a baby food jar, anything with a rounded edge, um, and just it's just a general scraping. But now, but what happens in the Chinese version is that it also draws. I mean, it happens also in when I do the quote unquote American version, but I go very gently. With that, there, it still feels great, and especially like if you do the back, you
Oh
you kind
God.
of do. You do it constantly, and I mean it actually feels good. But what
Mm.
happens is that it also, like cupping in massage, it draws blood up to the surface. And so like what happens with that there, that's where you get petechia, which is like a bruising. So if someone were to
Well,
look up,
oh,
well, if someone were to look it up on say Wikipedia or whatever, it looks like somebody was whipped, a cane whipped or whatever. It's that's only a temporal thing.
temporary.
It's
Yeah.
temporary, and as a matter of fact, it's the same effect as cupping in massage. Where cupping, it's whether
Yeah, I remember having the cupping and seeing
oh,
the yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
so it's like, I mean, I love cupping, because what happens is that helps to increase blood flow, but then also with that scraping, not only does it bring blood to the surface, but it also helps to release toxins. In China, even up to this day, couples work on each other, as parents work on children, and let's say for instance they have a cold or a flu. Just by
Mhm.
doing that, it also opens up the chi, or that flow of energy, brings blood to the surface. But then by releasing the toxins, it also uh,
Flushes.
it also shortens the time of the cold
Duration.
or the flu or the duration.
Mhm.
Yes. So I mean, and so it's like, it's just wonderful being able to take and blend all these different modalities.
I wish you weren't across the United States. Seriously.
Uh, yeah. And what's really cool is,
Yeah.
while I may, somebody looks at my flyer or website and they're like, "Oh man, I don't know which one to pick." It's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, you'll do
Every session I do is customized. When someone comes in, it's like, okay, I have a brief consult, and it's like, you tell me what issues you'd like to have addressed, and I customize it right on the spot. It's almost like a Chinese menu. Some for column A, some for column B, some for this and that. And the thing is, I can.
that.
And the beauty part is, because I'm also trained in different areas and such, I
Mhm.
can address not only the physical, but then the emotional and spiritual aspects. So, for instance, someone could come in and it's like, "Man, my shoulder is killing me, and I'm feeling anxious and depressed." And it's like, yeah, I can treat it all in the same session, different modalities, of course. But
Mhm.
and I will have to say that I do the body work first before the emotional, only because it's
Mhm.
I mean, not that there's because what it is like, okay, when you're working, especially in the emotional, now you're looking at calming the person. If you do that first and then start to rough them up a little bit with body work, well, you're just kind of a little counterproductive.
Okay, so Fred, all the people that do not live in your area, what do you suggest to them if they want to do some body work? How do they go about fine tuning someone, or what should they look for?
Well, what I would say to look for is actually my what is someone who uses tools. So you like there's a as far as specific body work, and this is only a subset of what I do. Look
Hmm.
for look for someone who does VFRT. That's release, vibrational fascia release technique. Um,
VFRT.
yeah,
Okay.
VFRT.
Okay.
Okay, that's one thing. You can also, you can also now actually, and then something that I would really recommend too is look for someone who does Tuina. Tuina, that's Tuina. That's what I mentioned before as far as that Chinese acupressure body work.
Right.
That is so powerful.
Is that the
And
one with the thumb?
yeah, that's the one with the thumb. Yes.
Mhm.
And I mean, it all depends on a practitioner. Now, different cultures. It's like I found this out uh, with working on not only people from the United States, but then also people from Asia. Where, uh, where those people from Asia, they are more used to and acclimated to, where
Right.
they just dig right in. Whereas you try to do, somebody here in the United States, it's like, wow, you're hurting me.
Really painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And they're not going to come back.
yeah. So I mean, you can still do tweet. And so what I do is when I do tweena on people around by me, you again work in layers. You make several passes. Okay, a little bit, a little bit more, a little. Each pass you kind of dig in deeper. So I mean, yeah, there may be a little, if you hit a quote unquote ouch point, that actually means, yeah, no, that's what
Very
you,
technical.
yeah, very technical. But yeah, if you find a ouch point, as Dr. Wu would say, then you just need to stay with that, because that's a trouble spot that needs to be addressed. Now the thing is, it's like, okay, in the tween on its purest sense, you find something like that. Now it's a matter of taking your thumb and just kind of working it. It's
Okay.
like, but the thing is, like, nah, I could do it quicker and easier
Yeah.
with the tuning fork to break it up.
And there are some of us that have longer nails, so they can't use that thumb.
Yes.
So the
Like,
tuning
you
fork.
notice
Yeah,
my nails
very,
are
very manicured.
short. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very,
It's
yeah.
because if I don't, then I wind up doing acupressure. I don't want to go subdermal with my nails.
No, no.
No.
Fred, is there anything else? You're fascinating. You seriously are.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
no, you are. I've learned so much and I've taken notes over here too. Um, is there anything else? Because we should wrap up here quickly
Yeah, I'm
that
looking at the
people need
time.
to
Yeah.
know.
I was going to say, if anyone is curious as far as maybe about myself and what I do,
Hmm.
my website is www.zentasticwellness.com, or just Google Zentastic Wellness. Matter of fact, you can kind of there's there's the
Well,
name,
it'll be on
there's
the
my
bottom
logo.
of it'll be on the
Oh,
bottom of
okay,
this
great.
video too. All your links will be there.
All right, awesome. Then it's like, yeah. I mean, then if certainly you can follow me on Facebook. Uh,
Hmm. And you
just a
have good posts. I like your posts.
Oh, I was going to say, and that's what I was going to mention too, is yes, I try to keep things balanced, unbiased.
Yes.
However, I
Mhm.
just want to warn everybody, I do have an eclectic sense of humor. So, well, no, I mean, there are some things
I haven't seen that yet.
no, I mean, it's,
Mhm.
just, no, but it's
Mhm.
just good, clean humor. I
Oh, that's good.
nothing, no, nothing raunchy, nothing, because because as far as neutrality, I avoid politics. I avoid all kinds of things. It's like, wait a minute, my goal is to help uplift and unite,
Right.
not to.
Mhm.
So it's like I don't. I love bringing people together, not trying to
Divide
cause
them. Right.
exactly,
You're a healer, Fred. You need to
exactly,
continue to be a healer in every part of your life. And you
absolutely.
do that. Yeah. Okay. Fred, it was wonderful. If there's anything else you feel like we need to address, I'm happy to have you on again because you're such a wealth of knowledge. You really are.
Oh, I love to share because it's like it's I mean, there are some. I know there are some that it's like, oh, they got to keep it to themselves. Like, no, in fact, I will even like with even some of my clients. If there's some, as much as I love healing and helping people, I can't be with them 24/7. So it's like
Yeah.
if
Mhm.
there's something I could do, whether maybe teach them a few yoga poses or
Yes.
acupressure points. I mean,
Mhm.
something that it's like, okay, if a pain comes up or whatever, something to take the edge off.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
you know, and 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 some people are saying, oh, you kind of you put yourself out of business. I said, no, my
Oh, no,
goal.
you're not.
My
Yeah,
goal is to
no.
help people.
Yes. Mhm.
I mean, I'm not. Matter
Hold
of
all
fact,
that
I rejoice
knowledge.
when
Yeah.
somebody graduates from a condition,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
so it's like, yeah.
exactly.
So,
Mhm.
I mean, that's my mojo.
And that opens the door for more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Fred, don't take off. We're going to say goodbye, but don't take off so
All right.
I can chat with you. But thank you for coming on the channel, and I feel enlightened, educated, and enlightened. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you very much, and I mean, I enjoy your energy and presence as well, my friend.
Oh, thank you. And you guys get a hold of him. I know he'll talk to you and reach out to you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.